Welcome to another episode of the Waffle Shop podcast. Today, I'm joined by an absolute legend. A little bit embarrassing I said that. I didn't think that far ahead. But DJ producer, absolute. Welcome to the Waffle Shop.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm very embarrassed right now because I feel like that just was naturally part of my vocabulary.
It happens all
Uh,
the time, don't worry.
uh, I mean, to be fair, Trent, actually, no, before we launch into it, we've got to talk about you just mentioned that you've just come back from Bali. Like, you could
Oh,
have brought the sunshine.
I know, I did
Like,
try. I've got it on my hair. That's about as
to, you did well. Halfway there.
yeah, that's
But
it. It's a bit of a shock coming back to this minus weather. I thought I'd managed to swerve the winter, but apparently not.
no, definitely not. I'm sat here with like a blanket and a heater.
Yeah.
It's that
Little
bad.
hot water bottle.
But to be fair, I start each one of my shows with something called the weekly waffle, which is something that has pissed me off a little bit. But once I speak to my guest, it makes me feel a little bit better. But this is gonna be really random, but this is the kind of the stuff that keeps me up at night. And the thing that's winding me up this week is baby names. Right? Stick with me with this one. Because like we have this thing now, like, oh, Karens and all these kind of things. My friend literally messaged me this morning and said, like, do you know anyone from an adult, like in your adult life called Blaine? I was like, no, thinking they've been like, oh no, why? What's happened? And she was like, no, I just thought about it that I don't know anyone called Blaine. And I was like, well, now I'm thinking about it.
And now I'm going to be thinking about
Now you're
it.
going to be thinking about it. But it's
Searching
just
for my
like this,
Instagram, looking for
it's
some
like anyone called
blames.
Blaine. But it's that thing, isn't it? Like when like we're kids and stuff. I mean, I'm grateful for like being given a name and this, that, and the other, but it's kind of like who looks at a baby and thinks, oh, little baby Blaine or little baby Karen or
Little Babby Blaine. Here we go.
yeah. It's a that it's gonna be annoying me now because that guaranteed I'll get to sleep about 2 o'clock in the morning and be like, what the fuck? What was that? Why? But I feel like I've passed that burden on now, so
Yeah,
good luck with that one.
thanks.
Is there
I'm gonna pass
anything?
my housemates.
Yeah, literally, there's gonna be this whole string of trying to
The
find
blame game.
blames. A blame game. Oh, I love that. Is there anything that kind of gets on your nerves that you'd like to get off your chest in this safe space?
Oh, thanks. Do you know what? I do try and focus on the positive because I know otherwise I'll just go into a hole. What's been annoying me? I mean, jet lag was annoying me this week, waking up
Yeah.
at 4 a.m. But now I've actually I mean, I don't even think the worm is up at that point, let alone
Yeah.
yeah. But now I've kind of just flipped it into I'm just going to get up super early. I've started this thing called the Miracle Morning. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Oh, okay.
And it's basically it's supposed to take an hour. It's been taking me a bit longer because I've just started. But you get up and you do meditation, affirmations, visualization,
Wow.
journaling, writing, and then exercise. Like that's like your hour. So I
Yeah.
what would be annoying as fuck, which was waking up at 4 a.m. into now I'm trying to do it into my like miracle morning. So by 7 o'clock, I'm just like
Like
ready
buzzing
to
for like
go.
ready to go.
Yeah. But then
That's
probably will
good.
crash at about 12 o'clock.
Well, it's kind of inevitable when you're kind of like, yeah, seize the day, and then I just
Yeah.
want to
Seize the
seize
day
the
and
sofa.
the night. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you found that that's work? I mean, I'm a huge advocate for journaling, like especially when it comes to the shit that goes on in my head about must find a
Yeah.
blame. But it kind of like it gets what's in my head out and kind of allows me to visualize it because then it's kind of a bit of a shock. And then you're like, all of that have just come out of your head, and then when now you can see it, you're like, oh yeah, maybe that's why you're a little bit fuzzy. Like maybe that's what the problem is.
Yeah, that's
But
the
do you find obviously with that whole kind of morning routine, is it helping?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, to be fair, I've only done it for 2 days, but
But
it's
it's
early
building the
days.
habit, building the
But
habit.
yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, writing stuff down, I guess it kind of, it takes it it kind of makes it a bit present, and it kind of takes it out of your. You can kind of look at it from a different angle a little bit
Yeah.
as well. But I definitely I do love trying to get into these sorts of routines. Like I was
Yeah.
doing the artist way in December, just like dabbling with it, just trying to get up
Yeah.
and journal in the morning. I just basically want to start the year with a sort of fresh,
Yeah.
creative flow and just really like just smash this year. So I'm definitely
Love
big
that.
on these like I kind of go through phases, often at the start of Jan, just to well, I guess it's the end of Jan now, but
Yeah.
start of my Jan because I only just got back. But I really love those. Yeah, getting my head into some of these sort of tools that you can use to just excel.
Yeah. It's like makes you powerful, I think. Those kind of things.
Definitely, yeah, it makes you feel powerful and it makes you feel that yeah, like you can kind of tackle anything because it is, it is a slog trying
Yeah.
to breaking through as an artist in the current times. There's I'm definitely aware of how hard it is and using
Yeah.
meditation. I try to use quite a lot anyway, so it's just kind of adding on these extra things. But the journaling part, I probably found that the most difficult. But I
Oh,
think
really?
that's probably the one I need to do the most.
Yeah.
That like the
To be
one
fair
you
though,
resist the
it's
most.
the kind of stuff that you got because even when it comes to I can't meditate. But I'm better at it. I shouldn't say that I can't do it. I'm better at it than I was like a year ago. But I can't sit there for a period of time and just kind of breathe and stuff like that. Like I find it very difficult. So I have so much respect for anyone who can actually like really kind of stick to it.
Yeah, it did. Do you know what? It took me a few times to get
Mm.
into meditation, but I've been using the Headspace app,
Yeah.
and there's a particular one on there. It's a kindness meditation, and it's like a visualization where you visualize liquid sunshine flowing through your
Yeah.
body, and you kind of imagine it filling yourself up, and that's probably had the most impact. Like I physically feel better when I do that
Yeah.
meditation, especially if I'm like mega stressed. That's the one that visualization is the one that seems to have like given me the most boost.
Yeah. I love these conversations. See, it's
So
just
I
like from
recommend that
negative to a
one.
positive,
Yeah,
always.
I would recommend if you want to attempt it. It kind of you just kind of sat there and just trying to visualize something. So it's rather than just trying to clear your mind or concentrate
Yeah.
on breathing, you're
You
kind
can
of
see
focusing
it.
on something. So it
Yeah.
makes it a little bit easier than just you
I'm
know.
taking that. I feel like this episode is gonna be like the gift that keeps on giving. So
Okay, yeah.
thank you for that. No pressure.
You're
No
gonna be like bouncing out,
yeah.
bouncing out of
My liquid sunshine, it's great.
it.
Yeah, I wanna gotta go back to the blame thing. But I want to talk about names. Obviously, your real name's Anthony.
Yeah.
How did you kind of get to become absolute? Like, what was the kind of the thought process, or what was the reason behind it?
Yeah, it was basically like utter determination. There was it was maybe about 5 years ago. I was running club nights in London, like queer underground parties, and it was like, they were like the party to go to. It was amazing. I
Yeah,
kind of like it. I wasn't like an artist. I was DJing, and it was like it was fab that I got to create these spaces for people, and that we could just be
yeah,
liberated and free, and it was really empowering. But I just knew that I needed to be an artist, and I needed to make music, and I needed it to be about that. So I kind of stopped all of that, which kind of would be mad. Some people, it was
yeah,
when I didn't know how I was really going to survive. I stopped doing every gig that wasn't something that was going to push me forward, and then came up with the name Absolute because I was like, this almost like a reminder, like each time I say it, that like I am absolute in this, like this is going to happen, like whatever you need to do to make this happen, it will happen. So like that,
yes,
so it's almost like, yeah, it kind of gives, it's just it realigns with my vision each time I see it or say it, and it's just helps to keep me going
yeah.
through the
That is
slog.
powerful,
Yeah.
to be fair. And I think, to be fair, there's something I do want to touch upon there about like, you creating those spaces at those club nights for people to be, who they were born to be. Like, has there ever been a moment where you've kind of like, especially with kind of now you're creating these anthems that are being played at these kind of parties that you're like, oh, okay, that was the right decision. Like, have you kind of had that feeling?
Yeah, it's a funny one because I do look back at it. I mean, even now, just talking about it, like
Yeah,
looking back at it again, I mean, it was so incredible to actually create these spaces where people really did feel they could be themselves. And,
yeah.
for some people, like they actually only get to feel like that in those spaces. So it's really powerful. It's not just like you're going somewhere to just, dance about. Obviously,
Yeah.
there's lots of dancing and lots of, but you kind of feel part of a community, you feel part of something. And
It's like your
um,
tribe, isn't it? Like I'm a big believer in like, especially in life, whether it's, regarding your like sexual orientation, whether like it's your hobbies, whatever it might be. It's like surround yourself with those kind of people, and like the right people can propel you to
yeah.
literally to ridiculous heights.
Totally. I mean, it's that's it. It's like when you find your tribe, and that's like for me when I
Mm.
discovered the like underground queer East London
Yeah,
scene. That was when I like found my tribe, and it's like having the support or like a network of people knowing that you're not alone. It's like it really can transform you, and it can just empower you to kind of go for things that you may not have attempted, like to go for your dreams. And it's incredible. Like it's incredible. That's why I do miss creating those spaces. But I think now for me at any of my gigs, I kind of anywhere I play, I want it to
yeah,
be that space. And anywhere that I play, I'll always try and make sure that people can do be who they want to be
yeah.
without any sort of prejudice. Like
Do you
that's like
reckon it's
important.
safe to say you've gone from kind of creating these spaces to kind of soundtracking the memories created at these spaces?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they definitely influenced me a lot. I mean, even down to my hair. Like that's
Yeah.
it's this big bright beacon of light to remind
Yeah.
myself, like to never dim your light. But it also stemmed from like the parties that I was throwing. They were like super colorful. It was all like club kids, drag queens,
Yeah.
you know, nightlife freaks, all the bad people that that inspire me. And that was definitely carried through into what I'm
Love
doing now.
that. Is there like on that, obviously when you were kind of toying with the idea of becoming like absolute like the artist, I always find it interesting when I have like a musical guest on. Like, was there someone that you looked up to, or was there like a performance you seen, a DJ set that you seen and thought, that's what I want to do?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I've always just had this like passion for dance music
Yeah.
inside of me since I was a kid. Like, and I never ever thought that it would be a career because it's just, I grew up in a small town, seaside town. I was queer. Like people that didn't happen to
Yeah.
anyone that even remotely happened to. So it was never something that I thought could happen. But growing up, there was a few artists that kind of inspired me, like Thomas Bangalter from Daft Punk. He like musically, like I adored his productions, and it was like super inspiring. And I'd have all the vinyl, and I'd just be rinsing them completely. And then later on, Tiga was another artist that
Yeah.
inspired me. I think because he just has that. I mean, he's just cool as fuck. Like I love him.
Yeah.
And also he's like has that ability to cross. I really respect artists that have the ability to cross the lines of both commercially successful but still remain authentic and credible.
Yeah.
And I feel he did that in such a great way. And then Larry T, who I was running club nights with, he wrote Supermodel for RuPaul. He was part of the club kid scene in New York.
Wow.
And we started running club nights together. So he was definitely like a big inspiration for me during that sort of period while I was running club nights. And just I guess having those sort of mentors and support, it really did kind of give me a boost,
Yeah.
kind of, because it's a lot to try and I guess like you're believing in yourself constantly, and
Yeah.
you're
Which
betting.
isn't an easy thing to do either.
Yeah, for sure. So it's like having to be surrounding yourself with people that are also your cheerleaders.
Yeah.
It's it's so important. I mean, there's also my old housemate Glyn. He also runs nights. He runs Seek the Pink and
Yeah.
Mighty People Festival, and been one of my best friends for years. And probably at the time one of the only people that we both kind of got what each other did, and because it's, it wasn't really that many
Yeah.
people that were doing what we were doing. And he has been just like, was like a rock to me, because we were living together, and I honestly don't think I would be able to, I wouldn't be in the position I am now if I didn't have just like the unwavering support
Yeah.
of him. And it was like, that's, yeah, it's powerful.
You know, I can see as well, like how much this all means to you as well. Like even like I can hear like the passion in your voice when like even it's down to like the inspirations or like why you're doing what you're doing. Like there's a lot of heart in this.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I guess it's yeah, I mean, I'm getting to do what I love, which is, you know, incredible.
Yeah.
I feel it's, but it also comes with a lot. It's also scary that, I've
Yeah.
started to make a name, and it's like I've now got to, level up again and make sure that, it keeps going, and that I'm doing it in the right places. And
Yeah.
it's scary, but it's also fucking exciting. So I
Yeah,
get to,
exactly. You've got to feel the fear. You've got to do it anyway. Like
yeah.
you've got to push past those like those boundaries and stuff. You've got to.
Oh, for sure. And especially like when you have like good gigs, it's like, there is no better feeling. Like,
Yeah.
when you're just like, when you're playing in a crowd, and it's like, it just feels like you're bringing everyone together. You're creating these like moments of joy, and you can just like feel the energy. It's
Yeah.
the most incredible feeling.
That literally must be the best job in the world. Seeing
Yeah,
that.
it feels
Like
like
feeling
it.
that.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it.
Has there ever been a moment, and fair, like I don't know why this is, it might sound a bit negative, but have you ever been in a position where like you're playing like the bangers and you've played one that hasn't quite gone down as well?
Yeah, a million
Like
times.
how do you navigate that as a DJ? Because it's like it's the thing, like if you say the wrong thing, you're like, shit, should have said that.
Yeah,
So
I'm sure I've done
how do
that a lot as
you,
well.
so how do you navigate that like in front of like thousands of people that you play for?
Yeah. Did you know what? I've been DJing for years, since I was a teenager. I've like done every sort of thing wrong that you can. I've like turned the wrong deck off, pulled the wrong vinyl off. I've like played the wrong tracks. I mean, I've played the same track twice in a row by mistake. I mean, I've done like, I've done it all. And I think,
Yeah,
we're only human. It's gonna happen. But like each time, that's how I am the artist I am now. That's why I know I can just go and smash any set, because I've
yeah,
done everything wrong a million times. So I've got to the point where, and I'm still going to do things wrong. Like, of course,
yeah.
like, I mean, we're only human, and but that's, I guess, part of the fun of it sometimes.
True. It's
But
part of
it
the
can, yeah.
journey.
You also as well. Like, I can you read a crowd, so if I play something and I can feel that the energy is not there, then
Yeah.
I'll just like put something else in quite quickly, or I won't keep the track. I won't let it play fully.
Yeah, I
I'll
was
just
about to say, yeah, we'll remix that out.
let's leave it. Let's like bring something else in. So it's like, so it does happen, yeah. But less and less, hopefully.
What one of the songs that I've got to talk to you about, which is one of the first ones where I'm really starting to discover who like you were and like what you stood for and stuff, was Rave Against the Machine,
Oh yeah.
which incredibly powerful track. And then it was a while later, it was the remix of George Michael. And it was like I'd never heard that song before. I
Yeah.
was like, I need to talk to this guy. Like, I need to, I need to, because like that in itself, like, especially being like obviously a very kind of like an icon in that space that you've created, to then get that opportunity to kind of remix another icon, like, how was that? Like,
Yeah.
so
I
that must have felt like a
goosebumps
huge
thinking about
moment.
that now. Like
Yeah.
that it's, I mean, when that first came about, it was like, I mean, it's George Michael. He's just
Yeah.
a queer legend. It's uh, and it was scary to, I wanted to do it justice.
Yeah.
And then my sort of thought process behind it, it was just like, okay, I'm just going to imagine I'm back in Pikes with George. We're carrying on. We're by the pool. We're having a moment. We are living our lives, and we're letting it.
Yeah.
And I kind of just channeled that feeling into creating music that would soundtrack that. And I just took out the bits of the track that I liked. I mean, when the stems came over, there was like 100. I'm sorry, no, there's like nearly 1,000 different
Wow.
musical parts that you like had to go through. So when
Yeah.
I picked out the bits that sort of resonated, and then tried to turn it into something that felt more current but still classic
Yeah,
sounding.
do you know what though? That was exactly the way I would describe it. Because
Perfect. So
it literally, it
did
still felt like, because
it?
it wasn't, it was like if obviously, unfortunately, obviously he's no longer here, but like I felt like if he was here and obviously moved in, well, to be fair, he pushed the boundaries all over the place when it came to music. But that's what I would imagine. That's what would have sounded if he released that today, which I kind of wanted to say, like, because obviously it's now, it's like on a hell of a lot of my like dance playlists and stuff. So it's like,
Great. I love
yeah. So
to hear that.
yeah, you're doing well with that one.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I mean, honestly, and it was actually just it was just like a real joy to make it. It was
Yeah.
like really fun, um, and just yeah, I mean, to get to, to do a track of an artist like that. I don't think he's really had many remixes as well, so it's made the
Big
whole
honor.
process like extra special.
I love. I mean, to be fair, like it kind of leads me on to my next question about like being in the right place, the right time, and obviously following your passion and stuff like that. You just mentioned that you've come back from Bali. Now, I love this time of year, not because it's absolutely freezing cold, but like all the festival lineups start getting announced, the buzz for summer starts to build because
Yeah, yeah,
we're kind of over the cold now. Like we need a bit of sunshine. We need to dance, basically. You've played like Glastonbury, Creamfields, like you've the best festivals in the world. Like, is there more of that this year?
yeah. I
I
hope
mean,
so.
obviously, I was going to say like I don't know if you can announce anything, but like
Yeah, I
obviously,
can't really announce much for summer, but I mean, in terms of festival season, the next festivals I'm doing. I'm playing at a festival in Canada called Igloo Fest, which is like a
amazing.
snow festival in Montreal. And then after that, I go to Australia to kind of catch the end of their festival season.
Yeah,
I'm playing for it's like World Pride and Mardi Gras,
amazing.
Sydney. Um, so there's like I think I'm doing like 4 events for those. One being like a like massive after party event, and then straight over to Pitch Festival in Melbourne, which is Pitch Festival is probably, I mean, it's been on my radar for about 3 years. I've been wanting to
Yeah,
play it. And the lineup is incredible. It's like a Pitch Music and Arts Festival. So they're the next two sort of festivals that I'm getting to play at that I just like, that I'm, especially the Melbourne one. I'm like super excited for that. And
this
to be
is
on Pride as
insane.
well. It's
Are you
mad
ever
that,
at
yeah.
home?
I mean, it's not. I mean, I think I'm in London for like 2 weeks over the next few months. So
Amazing.
it's yeah, it's a lot. Trying to work out actually like the best thing to do with living situations because it's like I'm not really here that often, but need to have a studio. It's like
So,
trying to
Javed,
navigate
it's a
that.
very good setup that you've got there. Very
Yeah,
impressed.
just yeah. I've got my little keyboard going on here. Like, but yeah,
There's sorry,
it's
I didn't
all
cut you
over the
off there.
place. It feels like it's all over the place at the moment, but I mean, it's a great problem to have.
It's all positive. All positive. There's three questions I like to wrap my interviews up with, especially, and I'm really excited because I've never asked them to a DJ before. I've only ever had like singer-songwriters. So I'm very excited for this one. But which to be fair, you're normally the one getting people on the dance floor, but I will need to know what song is playing to get you on the dance floor.
Oh, that's a good question. Probably one of mine.
You're about to say,
Yeah, like take your
like,
pick,
yeah,
any of my
that's
back
me.
catalogue.
Yeah,
I'm on
Shazam
the
it. It's
floor.
me.
I'm on the floor and I'm screaming and I'm ready to go. Do you know what
Love it.
it kind of changes? I guess things I get to play music that I love all the time. Like that's
Yeah,
my job is that. But it's almost like on the flip side now. Like even when I was just in Bali, like we went to a couple of clubs, and I think because I get to experience some of the best of nightlife in the world,
yeah,
when you then go to somewhere that doesn't quite hit the mark, it kind of has the opposite effect, and I just
yeah.
feel like quite bored and quite like I just want to sit down or not be there, and that's actually yeah. So I think it's almost had like the opposite effect. Like it just needs to be really fucking good for me to be on
so,
there, and
so any song that's really fucking good.
yeah, yeah, pretty much. Any song that's great in my catalog, preferably.
Love that.
But yeah, I mean,
Um,
there's lots of artists that I really love, like that that are playing that I usually go to sets or DJs that I like, so I know they're going to be playing stuff that is going to get me going.
on the flip side of that, is there a song that brings out the emotion, or like when you things are a little bit much, or is there anything that you kind of lean towards to kind of basically make you cry?
Yeah, do you know what? I've got a playlist. It's called like Super Emotion, and it's
Yeah. Please share it.
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you after. And there's a few tracks on that it's just tracks that really just make me feel something like to the
Yeah.
yeah. Luckily, I haven't had to put it on for a while.
Yeah, that's good. That's a positive.
So which is a positive. So I can't remember exactly what's on it because it's been a while since I did it. But I mean, just music in general for me, like I'll use it as a tool for, if
Yeah.
I'll try not to put it on if something's going to make me cry. I'll put something on that's going to make me dance my tits off in my
Yeah.
bed and jump around,
Love that.
and then like try and pull myself out of it, out of
No,
a
I
hole.
do that to Adele though, so it depends on how you
Yeah. Really just like going for
just
it.
really go for it. Hometown
Like,
glory, it's all out.
watch out, neighbours.
Look, this is why I have to have blinds now. With that, one final question for you. Is there a song that you would like to put in a little capsule and never ever hear again?
Oh,
And this isn't like a negative. This is just like where you might have been like, you've just played it to death, or like, I mean, some people have mentioned like Jedward, some people have mentioned like Mambo number 5. Like, I mean, I feel really bad because I always lead with Jedward for that, but that wasn't my choice.
like what we got against
Yeah.
Denver?
I mean, I think they're great. I think this is something to do with me.
God, that's such a good question. But do you know what? Because I don't really, I always just try and think on the things that I want more of.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't really think about the things that I try as a rule to just like ignore everything that I'm not liking and try and focus on the things that I do want. So that's like,
That's
God, so
good
I'm
though.
even trying to think of a track. Well, what would it be? Do you know what? Honestly, like I can't tell you a track that I would just.
Jedward. It's
It's
like
Jedward. It's
the first,
Jedward.
yeah,
It's their
the
entire
fourth
catalogue.
person who's come on this show said
Yeah.
Jedward.
It's Jedward. I'm sorry, Jedward. But like,
You can say to their face they're here.
oh, woo, hi. Keep doing what you're doing. Love the
Exactly.
show.
No, keep going. Oh, I actually don't want this interview to end. Like,
Oh,
I'm
I know
having
it's been
such
such
a
a fun
good time.
chat.
But honestly, I'm absolutely buzzing to see where this year takes you. Like,
Oh, thank
keep
you.
making the anthems. Like, keep, because you literally radiate positivity. I was in a bit of a funk before this, and now I feel like I'm on a bit of a high. So
Oh, I
yeah,
love that. That's
keep
amazing to
going.
hear. That's amazing. Yeah, whatever it is, I've got new music coming out on Friday actually. So there's
Yeah, so obviously that's
it's called Voices. So you can crack that on. Hopefully that'll give you a bit of that. Actually, that one is super emotive. It might make you cry. It's
I
kind of
love
like
that. That is it. One of those
crying on
like
the dance floor, but also
melancholy. Yes,
jumping
I
about
love
at the same
those.
time.
Sweet Nothing by Florence and Calvin does that for me. Like
Oh
I want to
yeah,
cry, but at the same time I want to dance. So
yeah.
I'm
You're twirling,
excited
but the
now.
tears are still coming.
Yeah, spraying everyone
Yeah.
with tears, not
Yeah.
that's I'll cut that out. But yeah, so it's out this Friday. Voices, stream it absolutely everywhere. Go and buy it, iTunes or wherever you get your music from. But absolute, you have been a banger. It's literally, I've loved this. So thank you
Oh,
for
thank
joining me
you.
for a
Me
waffle.
too. Thank you so much for having me.